Welcome everybody. Before I get into these awesome Druddigon buffs, I want to talk about the fact that this is not your average run-of-the-mill ROM hack, all right? As you can probably tell by looking at the base stat total here on Druddigon, this is not standard. In fact, in this ROM hack, there are many new Pokemon that have this 575 base stat total. If you are familiar with my other Pokemon buffs and changes, you already know that I call these semi-pseudo-legendaries, and they are often three-stage evolutionary lines. I have a lot of examples, but just to name a few, there are Pokemon like Nidoking, Nidoqueen, Magmortar, Electivire, Mamoswine, Slaking, Walrein, Crocodile, Klinklang, Chandelure, and then two-stage Pokemon like Arcanine, Exeggutor, Camerupt, and Abomasnow. There's only 4 575 base stat total, 4 single-stage Pokemon planned. To most people who have no idea what this ROM hack is or don't understand my philosophy while buffing these Pokemon, you might look at this and be like, what the fuck, Druddigon's OP, Druddigon is so strong. You can't look at these buffs in a vacuum, all right? You got to check out all the other Pokemon buffs and changes because the overall power level in this hack is very high. Not to mention, basically every single move, 600 plus of them, are buffed or changed. Check those out in the description. I took a lot of time to make a very detailed and easy to read move sheet where you can look at every single move, buff, and change. And you can easily digest them in that manner. But all of the single stage 575 base stat total Pokemon are dragon types. I thought that it's kind of cool to have these, Akala Island level Pokemon that are not pure dragon types, but they are non-evolving dragon types. So Tropius, Druddigon, and then Drampa and Turtonator are all planned to be semi-pseudo-legendaries in the sense that they have this base stat total benchmark. However, you have to keep in mind, base stat total is not everything. It's not even close to everything. Abilities and moves and typing and all this other stuff plays a huge factor in what makes Pokemon viable. And just because a Pokemon has a higher base stat total does not mean it's better. I put careful work into literally making every single Pokemon viable and good. Druddigon, now I can actually talk about the buffs here. Very fitting abilities in Tough Claw and Multiscale. Tough Claw is in Multiscale. I don't think I need to explain even for half a second why these abilities fit. But in case you need some convincing for whatever reason, the Pokedex goes on about how they use their sharp claws, and looking at him, he just looks like Tough Claws fits. And then Multiscale is similar to the logic of Rough Skin. He has these crazy multi-layered scales that are very hard and rough. Rough Skin is cool, however, Shelgon is a very defensive pure dragon type with Rough Skin, and it's actually viable. A Violet Shelgon is viable in this game, which is pretty cool. There are actually only 3 viable pure dragon types in the game: Druddigon, Shelgon, and Dragonair. There might be one I'm missing, but Druddigon is the only fully evolved one. Dragonair and Shelgon are viable with a Violet because they have really good abilities and good stats as well, but yeah, Druddigon's the only fully evolved dragon type, pure dragon type. There wasn't that many pure dragon types anyways, to be honest, in the vanilla games, but yeah, it's pretty cool typing. In Baron Black, he was part rock, which is kind of dumb, but I don't really remember why I did it. I mean, logically, it's not the weirdest thing in the world, but I prefer pure dragon. It's a better typing overall for Druddigon, for a Pokemon with a stat spread and abilities like this. So in this ROM hack, you do have access to infinite usability capsules, and I've tried to base HP more on size, hence why he has a massive 107 base HP, an incredible 130 base attack, which is bolstered to obscene levels with Tough Claws. So essentially what you can do is you can switch between the abilities Tough Claws and Multiscale, depending on the situation. Druddigon has lots of powerful priority moves, such as Draco Jet, First Impression, and Sucker Punch. And also the reason I gave him a actual pretty good, not anything too crazy, but a pretty good 73 base speed tier is because of the Pokedex talking about how he races through narrow caves. So I thought a decent speed stat is fair enough for Druddigon. And he can use that really well with Multiscale and Dragon Dance or Rock Polish, both of which he has now. Rock Polish is kind of an homage to the rock typing in Baron Black, and then Dragon Dance is just a very obviously fitting move, and that's great with his speed tier. He has all kinds of other beautiful moves. You can check out what all these moves do in the description below, but some name-worthy ones are Draco Jet for priority, Breaking Swipe for defensive utility to drop the opponent's attack and special attack, and it's pretty good at 70 base power. Dragon Tail, which is negative priority, however, it's 90 base power, 100% accurate, and can phase the opponent out. Dragon Claw, which always crits with a scope lens and is 105 base power overall. Dragon Hammer, 110 base power recoil, Dragon Rush, Dragon type close combat, Outrage, 130 base power, all kinds of really cool Dragon type moves that you can take advantage of. And then you have a plethora of great coverage moves that you can swap between using your TMs and tutors, as well as some by level up, like Raging Fury, which gives you +1 attack and is 100 base power if you moved last, or 50 base power otherwise. In general, he's a great utility Pokemon because he has healing. Morning Sun is really good with multi-scale. Morning Sun, logically, because if you read the Pokedex and stuff, it talks about how he absorbs sunlight with his wings, and once the temperature falls, he can't move anymore, and he won't be able to move if his body gets too cold. He never skips sunbathing. Like actual reptiles do in the real world. Hence why he has those little sails on his back, probably to absorb sunlight. It's actually why he had Solar Rush in Baron Black as well. But compared to Tough Claws and multi-scale, Solar Rush on a non-fire type is not going to get the job done. These two abilities are incredible to switch between, though. You have that defensive utility of multi-scale. You can set up a little bit easier. However, setup moves in general are nerfed, both PP-wise and just in terms of the effectiveness of them in-game, because there's a lot of anti-setup stuff that I've put into place, such as priority moves that can phase the opponent out. They will often use those against you. However, he is very bulky, so stuff like Dragon Dance is nice with multi-scale, and then of course that Tough Claws boost that turns his 130, which is already very good base attack, without, say for example, you have a neutral nature, right? 359 attack, 359 times 1.3. It's 466, and that's with non-stab moves. So, for example, coverage moves will be doing that much. Will be coming off of that attack stat. However, Tough Claws actually stacks with stab. So 1.3 times 1.5 is 1.95. So it's almost adaptability, which is insane because you also have that 30% boost to your coverage moves. And that gives Druddigon over a probably almost 200 base attack with Tough Claws, if I had to guess. Let me do the math, though. What was it again? 467. Yeah, 180 something. 185. 184, yeah, 184 base attack with Tough Claws. All right, he's an absolute beast. And with an Adamant Nature, you're easily over 200 base for sure. Absolute menace for sure. Very, very strong. And that alone is worth using Tough Claws despite losing the defensive utility of multi-scale, because in-game you can easily use priority moves such as First Impression and Sucker Punch and Draco Jet with Tough Claws, or just bulkier sets. Assault Blast would be pretty great. He has great utility, like I said earlier, stuff like Buffed Glare, T-Spikes, which I think fits because he is spiky. And he learned stuff like Gunk Shot and Poison Tail normally in the regular games. So yeah, otherwise, I could talk about a few more things, but I'm going to leave the video off there. I think you can figure out the rest of the cool little things that Druddigon can do now. In general, he's just a very strong and bulky pure dragon type. Very bulky, very strong. I'm repeating myself, so I think that's my sign to end the video off. Hopefully you found these interesting. If you did, make sure you leave a comment down below. I really appreciate it, everybody. Druddigon, very forgotten, overlooked Pokemon, so I'm very happy I can give it the respect that it finally deserved.